Okay, so now let us talk about continuous integration concepts. Like what is continuous integration and all. We have already learned like code changes are made, then the pipeline would be triggered, right? How exactly it works, let's see. Let's suppose developers are making the code, right? They make the code commits and that's a continuous development. Once continuous development is done, like let's say they are developing it, they are making some commits here, right? We know technically these are called as commits. So whenever they make a commit, we need a system which can automatically identify the commit, pull the code and build it, right? Pull this code and build it. That's called continuous builds. Pull the code and build it, continuous builds, right? And then once builds are successful, let's say, okay, build is successful, no errors, no syntax errors, then it would proceed to the next step. But before that, what is a continuous build? What is meant by building the code? Anyone? What is meant by building the code? Developers are making a commits here, so code goes into the GitHub. That's where continuous development comes in. And now, whenever there's a commit, I need a system which can pull the code and build it. First of all, what is meant by building the code? Compiling, packaging, put together is called build. Again, what is meant by compiling? Converting source code into executable code or binaries is called compiling the code, right? And then packaging is let's say, okay, source code is compiled, converted into executable. Then this executable code will be converted into single deployable, ready to deploy file. That's what is packaging. If you take Java example, .java files will be converted into .class files, right? Like let's say 10 Java files is what developers will write. Those 10 Java files will be converted into 10 .class files, right? That's what is compiling. And all those class files will be combined and created into a single var file or a jar file or EAR file, right? Which we will take and deploy. So this whole part is called building. Understood? So this is compiling and packaging put together, which is called building the code. Understood this, everyone? Is this much clear for all of you?
Yeah, definitely.
So this is what is built, and we need to do this build not once or twice. We have to build it whenever there is a code commit. So whenever there's a code commit, pull it and build the code, right? The compiling and packaging would happen. This is what happens at the backend. So for this process, to facilitate continuous builds, we'll be using something called Maven or any build automation tool. There's so many build automation tools like Maven, Ant, Gradle and all. That's the next call. So it would build. So during the build process, if we see any syntax errors, runtime errors, build errors, who should fix it? Developers should fix it, right? So we'll send them back. So they'll work on it. Fix it means again a code commit. Whenever there's a commit, this will be pulled and this process keep on continuing. Let's suppose, okay, build is successful. Let's say build fails, it would go this way. It would go to developers again. Let's say build passed, right? If build is passed, then it would go for the next step of continuous testing. Here again, automation test engineers, test team will be there. They'll be writing test cases. This stage will execute those test cases. Again, when the test cases are executed, again, the test case could be in whatever automation tool it is. So if this is successful, it will proceed for the next step. What is test cases failed? What if any test case failed? Who should fix those bugs or defects? Who will fix it?
The testers or again development teams.
Any defects, any bugs will be fixed by developers. So fix it means again code changes that will be commit. That process will again go for means whatever code changes they have done, it will again go through the process of building, testing, and so on. So here comes the process of testing. Right? And then comes like once this is successful, like let's say, okay, testing is done, right? Then comes continuous deployment. Right? Of course, deploy to lower environment and then higher environment. Here in this testing process, many test automation tool test scripts might be executed. And here again for deployment, we use different tools like Docker and all. But this is the CI/CD pipeline, continuous CI/CD, I mean continuous integration, continuous delivery pipeline, which can be executed via continuous integration server called Jenkins. Jenkins is a continuous integration server which facilitates this. I told you, right? Whenever there's a commit, it should identify. So that's what is this Jenkins. It can identify, okay, there is a commit and it can help us trigger the next build and so on. These are the different stages or the different tasks we execute. So in Jenkins, these are all like some jobs, like build job, test job, deploy job. You have to create the jobs, right? As a DevOps engineer, we will create the jobs. We have to see that it's configured to use Maven. See, Jenkins is like an orchestrator. It doesn't do anything. Don't think that, okay, Jenkins is building, testing, deploying. No. Jenkins is like an orchestrator. Via Jenkins, you will build it, test it, and deploy it. Right? Via Jenkins, you can build the code, test it, and deploy it. And by using the right tools at the backend, you will create a build job such a way that it will use Maven at the backend and it can do the builds. You will create a test job. It will execute the test cases written in some using some test automation tool. It can deploy by using some Docker, Kubernetes at the backend. So it will use means in Jenkins, you will just create a jobs or tasks and you'll configure them in such a way that they'll use the right tool at the right time and trigger the task. So it's like an orchestrator via which you can execute this. So you can integrate GitHub with Jenkins, Maven, Docker, and so on with Jenkins and create this pipeline. So this is the continuous integration server and continuous CI/CD process. So what is the advantage of it? Like how is it benefit or how is it beneficial or how is it advantageous over the traditional approach? Have anyone worked here in the traditional approach of integration?
Yes, yes, Preethi.
Yeah.
Actually,
With, yes, go ahead, please.
yeah, actually, in my early days of career, we were working on Maven before this continuous integration delivery tools come into the picture. We were doing this package, we are doing manually, and we are manually pushing this code into the servers or anywhere Linux or Windows servers. We are getting the tar bars. We are taking that tar bars manually, pushing the code into the server so that application will come up and runs. Like that, we are doing a manual process entirely.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. So in the traditional integration process, if you see, like you would integrate it, right? Whenever developers make change, some change, you would integrate it manually, isn't it? In the sense, like there would be a separate team. Of course, developers will be involved there. Their integration team, they would sit together, they spend some sleepless nights, integrate the code. It's not that every day, whenever developer make a change, it would not be integrated. It would be integrated once in a while in 6 months, kind of. See here, this is what you are talking about, right, Chandrasekhar? You would be integrating once in 6 months or 3 months. And during that integration process, because you are integrating all of that at once, it would take some time for this integration and lot of errors. Have to fix that errors, see that the code is integrated successfully. And also it might be working on integration servers. It might not be working on other servers. These are all the challenges we have. If you see, the time gap between the integration events is very huge, right? Maybe once in 3 months, once in 6 months, kind of. But now every day there would be integration, multiple times integration happens. Every change will be merged into the system, integrated and tested. That's what is a continuous integration process. And this is the traditional integration. You can really appreciate the importance or the benefits of continuous integration when you have some idea over this traditional integration process. And also everything is manual. So lot of time, lot of effort, lot of risk, challenges, right? Also, it's not effective and efficient because it's all done manually. So always it's error prone, human errors would be there. So this is the difference. And Yeah, continuous integration is a process of automating the build and test process each time a commit is done to the version control system. Whenever any commit happened, it would be integrated and tested, right? But you can see this or experience this traditional integration process some years back, maybe before 10 years, or like Chandrasekhar mentioned, even starting of my career, we did this manual integrations. Whenever developer made some changes, it would be integrated manually, which was a lot painful task, I would say. But now we don't see this anymore. Maybe projects might be there still using it, but that's a game changer. That's not the way now. We would be integrating through the continuous integration process. Any questions here? Did you get clarity on this now? Any questions from anyone? So see here, integration events are less. Earlier, like in the traditional approach, integration events were less. Like I said, once in a while we would integrate, time gap is very less, and it's a manual, error prone, because it's all like done manually, lot of time, effort consuming process. But now improves quality, increases the productivity, and reduces the risk of human errors. And then other continuous integration tools. There were so many other integration tools like CodeShip, Bamboo, TeamCity, Travis CI, and so on. But Jenkins is very famous. You can see the graph. Jenkins is clearly the winner in the category. You can see other tools, there are no equal competitors because of the flexibility, because of the features it offers. It's so famous and so widely used. We will talk about what are all the features and all. Once you learn Jenkins, you would obviously see the difference with the other tools if you have if you are working or have experience with that. So being said that, Jenkins is an open source tool. It's actually a Java-based application. It is developed in Java. It doesn't mean that it will help building only Java applications. No, it can help build your .NET, C Sharp, Python, whatever it is, irrespective of the code of the programming language in which the application is developed in. We would create CI/CD pipelines. Like we discussed, it's a platform independent, it's a language or technology independent. So, but yeah, Jenkins, coming to Jenkins, it itself is a Java-based application. It's open source as Java is, and it has got a good plugin support. Plugins are like add-ons. Or else in your mobile, you think you can consider them like apps. Let's say you want to store something, you have a drive, right? Or else if you want to do some shopping, you have a shopping app. Kind of plugins are like add-ons which will enhance and extend the functionality of Jenkins. Means let's say, okay, I want to do some Docker tasks. You have a Docker plugin. Let's say I want to run some Ansible playbooks. You have an Ansible plugin. Or else, let's say I want to generate some reports. You have a plugin for it. There are thousands of plugins. You can install whatever plugin you need, right? And avail that feature or functionality. Just a minute. Right. So it offers the plugins, like plugins provide this support, and it has got a good community support as well. Like we know Java has got a good community support, same is the case here. There are thousands of plugins available. You could just search for it and install the plugin. We will see all of that with hands-on. Right, and it works on multiple operating systems. Obviously, it's a Java application. As Java works on multiple operating systems, so as Jenkins is. You can use Jenkins on Windows, Linux, Mac, and so on. Easy to set up and upgrade. You can easily set up this and upgrade it. Distributed team management. Like you can have a team with different access levels and permissions, which facilitates controlling the access. We will look into all of this with hands-on. These are some of the features which makes it so famous and widely used. And then comes user management, plugin management. From here on, all the hands-on begins. We will look into all of this like continuous pipeline, master slave concept, distributed builds, and so on. Firstly, Jenkins has got a great UI, user interface. So yeah, let us go and install Jenkins. By now we have installed certain applications, right? Certain services. Let us go ahead with Jenkins now. Any questions you have, you can ask me. Any questions from anyone? Okay. Did named it. Second. Let me start. I'm using the same server which I have used yesterday. I just named it as Jenkins October month. Let me connect to it. When did we start it? Is it October? I think we started on 13th.
13th, yes.
This is 10th class then, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, let us install Jenkins. But before that, you should have Java installed. We don't have Java. And yes, we should install Java and then Jenkins. To install Jenkins, you can go to the Google and type in Jenkins download. The exact URLs were there in the drive, but always see the process. URLs might be moved and also know the process, get to the official websites. That's a actual process to do. So yeah, Jenkins, like we discussed, it can work on multiple operating systems. Here is the list. It can work on Docker, on Kubernetes, Ubuntu, CentOS, Windows, and so on. We'll see Docker as well. And when you see Docker, you know to deploy it on Kubernetes as well. Now let's do it on CentOS Red Hat based. Our operating system is CentOS Red Hat based, right? But if you want to know, you can also confirm like this. OS release is the file. It will show you it's Amazon Linux 2 CentOS Red Hat based one, right? That's how you know. So let's go here. Here are the steps to download the Jenkins repository file because Jenkins is available in some other repository, not with IAM. We are downloading it from this repo. So here are the steps. You can copy and execute those steps. And then Jenkins key to download it from the repo. And then see here installing some packages, particularly so Java 17 Open JDK is important for us so that we can install Jenkins. So then install Jenkins. So just run these commands as it is. Confirm it with yes. And by the way, yes, Jenkins has got a great UI and Jenkins runs on the port 8080 default port. Okay, so Jenkins is installed. Now let's start Jenkins. How do you start the service? Start Jenkins. systemctl restart. 1 second. Systemctl daemon reload. Now let me try starting it. Still the same. Checking if I missed any steps. Give me a second. I'm checking in the drive itself. Java is installed, but still okay. Let me check. Java is not there. That's the problem. I installed it, but what happened? Let me see. See, this Java is not installed. That's the problem. Java is not installed with us. Let me install with Amazon Linux. Right, this is a command you can install. I'm installing Java 11. That's the problem. That's why it's not starting. Now let us try Java version. Java is available now. Let me start Jenkins. Jenkins should be started now. Okay, it says that like it started. Let me check the status of Jenkins. Yes, you can see it's active and running. And you can see the process ID here. If you want to confirm, you can check this. Pipe grep 3902. You can see it's on 8080, right? So now let us use Jenkins. Let's come here. This is the IP colon 8080. You should see Jenkins. Before it launches, let me tell you one more thing. Whenever you install Jenkins, Jenkins, this path is created by adlib Jenkins, which is called as Jenkins home directory, which is very important. All the changes, all the configurations of Jenkins will be stored here. And to access this, do you remember what we have to do? What we have to do?
Inbound route security.
Security, inbound rules, add rule, custom TCP, 8080 from anywhere I am giving. Now Jenkins should come up. Security rule 8080 from anywhere. Oh, I think I'm okay, correct only. 232. Yeah, correct. Okay. It is correct only, but. Okay, let me try restarting. It's working, it's showing here. See, login page is showing here when I curl it. But anyway, let me restart. Status Jenkins. It's running, but let me restart. Systemctl restart Jenkins. Status is running. Java version could be the issue. Java 11 is not supported, I think. See here, it's showing authentication required in the local host, it's showing. Something wrong. Okay. Maybe after restart it is coming up. Okay. So yeah, this is your page and you could see on the same browser, it's not working on the same tab. Okay. So yeah, okay, this is your Jenkins. And for the first time when you launch it, it would be in the locked state. You have to unlock it. How do you unlock? Where is unlock password? See, where lib Jenkins is the Jenkins home directory. Secrets, there is a file called initial admin password. It is here. You may also check it out this way. Where lib Jenkins, right? Secrets. This is the admin password, right? That way you can check, get the password and unlock it to launch Jenkins. Okay. So you could log in and you see now customize Jenkins. And it will show you two options, install suggested plugins or select the plugins to install. Like I told you, right? We have plugins which will help extend and enhance the functionality of the Jenkins. You can use it. You can go with the suggested plugins, means more widely used plugins. Or else you can choose which plugins you need. This is only one-time task. For the first time, you will be showing this. You could also install later on as well. You could install the plugins. But this way it will show you first time. Later on after login also you could install. But if you want to get started with some plugins, you could go for this. It will take some time depending on your internet and what are all the plugins you have chosen. See here, and Gradle, different plugins are getting installed. Let's wait for a while. Also, where does these plugins goes? Everything goes in here into the Jenkins home directory. There is a directory called plugins. This is where all the plugins would get installed. Right, 63, and you could see 65. All the installation goes in here. These are the plugins. So yes, this is the page. It will be asking for the admin user creation. You can create some user. Before that, I would like to show you. See, these are all the plugins that got installed. See, earlier we see a bunch of them, but now you have huge list. Okay. So now let us add some, let's create some user. I'm creating the user with the name admin. You may give some name, your choice, full name, email ID, save and continue. Right, save and finish. Jenkins is ready. Start using Jenkins. Right, so this is your Jenkins page. This is the welcome page or the dashboard of your Jenkins. So we can get started with the hands-on. Any questions before we go ahead? Are we all good till this much? Jenkins installation, by the way, is very simple. It may take some time to load, that's all. Wait and restart, it should be working. These are the commands. These are available in official. Don't copy from the drive these commands because they keep changing. Go to the right page of the Jenkins and get the commands from there. Make sure you have Jenkins in Java installed, this package or Java 11, and it should work. And then start Jenkins on port 80. Add the port to the security rule. That should start your Jenkins. Now we are here on the Jenkins welcome page, and now we were talking about Jenkins will have some jobs. Each job will perform some tasks and you could connect them and all, right? So now let's create some job. Let's see what a job is. I'll create a very basic job. See here, new item or a job or a project. These words are used interchangeably in Jenkins. You may do this way, go to new job or new item, all are same. So create some job. I'm giving name as job 1 and I'm creating freestyle project. Freestyle is like general purpose job with which it's flexible enough to create any sort of job. In reality, we'll be using pipeline and multi-branch pipelines. We will see those as well. For now, just create freestyle project. Right. So once you create it, there were so many sections like general, source code management, build triggers, build environments, and so on. We can go to the build steps, execute shell, right? Execute some shell command as like, I'm just writing a very basic command. My first Jenkins shop, right? And then just save it. So this is your job. It's like a task. If you want to run this any number of times, you have to keep writing that echo command, right? This will help you save this and you can execute it whenever you want. How do you execute it? Build now. Build now will help you execute the job or run the job, right? It's not like same as building the code. That is different. Okay, so now let us click on build now. Means execute the job. And once you build it, you can see it's the first run. You can build it any number of times. Means you could save all the configurations and run them any number of times. And if you click that, go to the console output. Here you can see the output of it, right? So that's a basic concept of job. This job is executing some shell command, a simple shell command. We'll see how a job can run maven commands, how can it execute test cases, all of that we will see. So for now, yes, it's executing a simple shell command. Now you have to understand here two things. For any job, it's a very basic job, but it could be any complex job as we progress. You need to understand two things for sure. First of all, like how this is executing, which program or which tool is executing it. Can anyone help answer this question?
It's running
Java.
with the help of Java.
Java.
Is it Java which executes this command?
Oh, okay. It should be the Red Hat license on which it is
It
installed.
is the shell program on the
Shell
server.
program, yeah.
Like I told you, Jenkins will not do anything. Jenkins is just an orchestrator. It's a job facilitator, let's say in layman terms. It's helping you to run this task. You may ask, why do I need it? I can go and run this on my shell directly. Yes, you can do. You can go into your CLI. You can run like this, any echo command, right? The same. Here, if I run echo command, shell program on the server is you doing it. Same is the case. Then why do you need it? I don't need to write that again and again. I can just build it whenever I need it, or else I can also auto trigger it. It's a shell command for now. Tomorrow it could be some Maven command, some deployment task, whatever it is. The whole point is this is executed by the shell program on the server. Tomorrow I'm going to create build job, test job. Build job will be executed by who is executing that MVN commands? Maven tool. Test jobs, test tool. Let's say I'm doing some deployments, Docker and so on. It's not Java or Jenkins will do. Jenkins will help you manage these jobs, create these jobs, connect these jobs, or auto trigger these jobs. All of that it can help us. Is that clear now?
Yes.
So that's the first thing. Second thing is, it could be, before that, it could be anything, shell program, Java, Python script, Python code, or you want to run Java file, then it is Java on the server. If you want to run Python code, Python should be there on the server, isn't it? Now I'm running shell because shell is anyway, it's a Linux server. Let's suppose I want to run some Windows. Can I choose this option? Can I choose this? Okay, you will get an answer. Tell me one thing. Where is this job executing? Means on which machine is this job executing? By the way, is Jenkins running on my Windows machine? How come I access it from my browser?
It's
All of
the server deployed into the AWS, right?
Jenkins is deployed on AWS instance, and we are accessing that Jenkins installed on AWS from my Windows browser. That's all. Sorry, from my Mac browser. That's all. Right, from my laptop, basically. Right. So we are not installing Jenkins in our laptop. We install Jenkins on EC2 instance, and we are just accessing it from my Windows through this browser. That's all. Like we learned Tomcat, HTTPD, we install. Same is the case. So that's one thing. Now tell me, where is this job executing? Is this executing on your laptop, or where is it executing? It's on the browser, so does it mean that it's executing on your laptop?
It's running under EC2 instances.
This job is executing on this EC2 instance. So shell commands execute because this is a Linux machine. Let's suppose one more thing, your Jenkins could be Windows as well, Mac as well, right? I could have Jenkins on Windows. Then this will not work. I should choose that batch commands, right? Windows one. Means the whole point is it is executing on the server wherever Jenkins is running. See, it failed because it doesn't have that Windows. I took Windows shell, right? See, Windows batch command couldn't be executed because that's a Linux machine. You are trying to run some Windows thing. Configure means edit. I could remove it. Similarly, you may call some Python code. Let's say I want to run some Python code. Python, this is how you call, right? App.py. Python should be there on the server. Whole point is it's executing on the same server where Jenkins is installed, right? To make sure that is clear, let me create one more job and see the outputs. Freestyle job. Again, shell command. And then I would like to write date command. Date command is a Linux command, which you will give you the current date of the server. This command output is placed into a folder called tmp, temp.txt, right? So what it will do, date command will be creating a file called date.txt in the tmp folder. Do we have anything as such? Right? No, but now if I run the job, it should create, which makes clear that it's running on my Jenkins server. Let me build it. Right, build number 1, console output, it shows this way. But now if you go Do you see that? If I run again, job 2, bill number 2, timestamp, it will show when it executed. And sorry. The dates are getting appended. Understood where the execution is happening? These are the two things you should get clear. And when you click this, it will show you started by user admin, means as an admin I logged in. You could give any name. And in the console output, building in the workspace, where lib Jenkins. Like I told you, right? This is the home directory of Jenkins. And in this home directory, whenever you create and run a job, automatically a folder called workspace is created. And in this folder, whenever you run a job, a directory will be created by the same name of the job, which is called a workspace. All the processing happens here. Of course, in our case, we don't have anything here, but if you have anything, it will execute. It will be here. Any processing will happen here. Right? That's a workspace in Jenkins. Every job will have its own workspace created under Jenkins home directory, where lib Jenkins. And this is the basic concept of job, how it is executing, where it is executing. Of course, these are the sample and very simple or a basic jobs like some shell command jobs, which is executing some shell script. But tomorrow we are going to have this as a build job test job. Like you can create the jobs this way and you can connect them such a way that job 1 will trigger job 2 will trigger the next job, and so on, and forms the pipeline. Of course, there are multiple ways, advanced things of how to create the pipeline. We'll be looking into it, but that's the basic method of creating a job. Any questions from anyone? And is it clear where our jobs are running and everything? There is a question from Aland. For our Java related applications, we will use Maven for the build process. However, for Python or other language, we'll also use Maven. Okay, each language, programming language has got its own build tool, right? Those build tools, choosing the tool, configuring the tool is all developer task. And also not that every application will use a build tool. I think Python don't need a build tool. So it varies, but whatever it is, yes, you have different build tools for each languages and those will be configured. And what you should know as a DevOps person about these build tools, yes, we will learn that.
Yeah, okay, Preethi, thank
There
you.
is clarity once we get into Maven. So we learned the basic job, what is a job, right? The basic concept of job. Before getting into the real jobs, we have to learn few concepts like user management. In user management, you have matrix-based authorization strategy, project-based authorization strategy, and then role-based access control. Different ways of authorization, authentication under user management. In this process, we'll also see plugin management, and then we'll get started with the real jobs. And that's where Maven comes in. Also, as of now, like we were creating a few jobs like job 1, job 2, and we are connecting them, right? We would be connecting via a Jenkins file again. All those advanced concepts we'll see. And as of now, job 1, job 2, both are running on the Jenkins master. But in reality, we run them on some remote servers. That also we will cover. Many interesting things are advanced things are coming up. Any questions from anyone in this part?
Yeah, Preethi, Ritesh here. So just one thing is, what about data pipelines? So can we, I mean, is it normally scheduled through Jenkins, or we have some other options?
May I know what are data pipelines?
I mean, picking up the data from one source and putting it into some like typical ETL things. I mean, if we talk about Azure, then we have this Azure data factories and so on, right? Um,
I'm not having much idea on it. I can get back to you on this.
sure, sure.
But we will be working with the CI/CD pipelines where there's a commit till it goes to production. We're working with the CI/CD pipelines.
Okay, okay,
In that
no worries.
CI/CD pipeline, in that pipeline itself, like let's say you want to transfer the data, yes, you can do. You can do lot many things, but
Okay,
specifically data pipelines, I don't have idea on it.
no
These
worries.
pipelines, you will configure the jobs or a status which can do lot many things. Like we have AWS CLI commands, we will call the scripts in here, or you have lot of things where you can do data, I mean, code transfers or data transfer. But specific data pipelines, I have to check.
Okay, thank you.
What
Any
is this plugin management, Preethi? You were saying something about plugin management.
Like-
what is it?
like I told, right? If we need any feature, any functionality, we will install a plugin. So that's where how to install the plugins, how to use them. That's what is plugin management. Like we install some plugins, you can see those plugins here. Manage Jenkins, plugins. Manage Jenkins is where all administrative tasks happen. This is the page. Here you have plugins where you can install or uninstall. These are all the thousands of plugins, out of which we'll install the plugins and use them. We'll go through that as well. Those are the plugins. Just a high level, we'll see how to install, what plugins we need and all. Even all the security tasks would be here. The authorized strategies I'm talking about, right? Like you have, yeah, authorization strategy. And when you choose your C matrix based, project based, role based access control, all of that we'll see. And another thing is system. Here under system configuration, global settings will be present. Like Jenkins home directory, the default place where Jenkins store all its data in this directory or the file system. And by the way, if you want to take Jenkins backup, this is the folder you should take backup of on this server. How to do that backup also we will see. And all of this in the Jenkins URL, everything is configured here. Timestamps if you want to attach to your logs. All those global settings goes in here.
In real time, generally we do all these kind of works day to day.
Jenkins admin you will not have access to.
Okay.
Like this option you will not have access to. Using role-based access control, we can control which users can have what access, like read access, view access, or admin access. All of that could be restricted and controlled. We will see that with the RBAC. Okay, the commands were already there here, Surya. Anyway, if I miss anything, let me update. Jenkins setup. First, check this. See, here it is, Surya. Installing Java and Jenkins downloading the repo file. But yeah, like I said, please get the commands from here. Okay, don't copy from Drive. So system daemon reload, restart, and then get to Jenkins. Yeah, those commands were explained for reference. This is the address book available. Tomorrow we'll talk, not to, yeah, tomorrow we may, yeah, we'll complete user management and we'll pick up the jobs and we'll talk about this. We will stop here today and we'll continue in the next session. Any more questions you have? And the Jenkins PDF, the presentation, whichever I have gone through also there. Different types of jobs also they will discuss. Here are the topics, but every day I would revise and add accordingly if we need anything. We'll update it. Triggers were there. Master slave concept documentation is there. Pipeline as a code is there. I have to log in a bit early today, so we'll close here and we'll continue tomorrow. Any more questions, please, you can go ahead. I can stay back for 10 more minutes. Yes, we will do those pushes and all. Configuring, integrating GitHub with Jenkins, all of that we'll do. Don't focus on it, focus on your setup, focus on creating sample jobs. And if you have any pending work, piled up work from the previous topics, complete that much. We will cover those things, pushing to GitHub and all of that.
Preethi, one small request. While we are running with the classes, right, shall we start discussing how the real-time scenario will be and what kind of a work we are doing and what is the expectations like that. Whenever you get a chance, could you please give us some sites, 5 to 10 minutes, so that we'll feel some confidence.
See, whatever scenarios we are covering, the same would be there in real time, except environmental differences. Environmental differences in the sense, like we were doing Jenkins installation directly on the EC2 instance, right? It might be like on a Kubernetes cluster, or else it might be for high availability configuration. Those differences would be there. Creating a job would be similar, and like the pipeline creations would, of course, this way we don't create a job because we have to get started. We started this way. So once we start the pipelines, like maybe in 2 sessions or else from the next session, we'll be starting working on the jobs. That's how even in reality you have. The difference would be here, like let's say I'm working on some Java application. Those applications might be different, but that doesn't make any difference to DevOps perspective. Application code, application logic, or else how the application work, that would be different, but that doesn't make any difference to DevOps team. Means that doesn't make major differences. It would be almost same because it's irrespective whether it is a Java application or else whether it is having this functionality also. So the scenarios, if you learn here, these scenarios you could relate to your project. If you are already working manually, let's say you are doing the same task manually, you can relate and convert that to automation. That way you can implement it. But anyway, yeah, noted the point. We'll highlight it as we discuss that. The thing is, whatever scenarios you do here are almost applicable to your real time, except the environments. But any other scenarios we were looking in, I'll highlight it definitely. All right, then I'm closing here. Thank you all. Good day. If when you are doing hands-on, if you have anything, please post it. Post the screenshots in the group. Will help you. All right. Thank you all. Good day. See you
Thank
tomorrow.
you.